Hi, this is Ramirez from Tywater Renaissance Fighting Arts, and today we're going to talk a little bit about using the DAG and entering in harness spectin. I've had a couple of requests from people saying, well, what do I do? How do we do this? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Historically, you have to remember that the head of a poleaxe is very heavy, and that attacking with it first is going to make for a problematic follow-up. It's not that you shouldn't do it, but we don't fight poleaxe like this. We really want to fight it in the middle, or if anything, from the DAG coming forward. Now, no matter what he does, if I try to stab him and he tries to counter with the axe, he's just allowing me to come back and hit him with my axe. I've chosen his shoulder because he's not wearing a helmet.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. You do appreciate that. If he does counter with the tail end, with the DAG, it's a tail, it's here. He can now come in towards my face. I appreciate that you don't do that because we need to replace that point. That's a little bit good to know. If, however, instead of trying to stab his actual shoulder, I go into the gap of his shoulder as he attempts his parry. Now as he continues upwards, I actually block him out.
Nothing about all this shit that's happened to me?
Now if he wants to turn, that's fine, but I can't use this to leverage against him. You might say, well, why doesn't he just turn around and hit me with the axe? It's a good question. I come through, he comes here, that is his axe. His axe actually can't go anywhere. If I grab his axe, it's a problem. So there are a lot of things that he faces when he faces the DAG. We can start with our, right tail. If we keep this low, we can always lift it up because, once again, we have the back weight. Treat the axe kind of like a pommel. It's a counterweight, and that this would move faster. Now, if he decides to stab into my gap, because of the height difference, some different things happen. So I come to counter, he comes here. If he is able to press into the inside of my hourglass, my arm is now pinned. If he flips it up this way, I'm in trouble. Now this is a little easier doing this in slow motion. But if I'm here, I come in, he comes into my arm. So he comes into my arm instead. He places that against there. He then pushes and twists. He's actually taking me to my weak because I'm coming in on my strong side. All my weight is kind of shifted here if he does that correctly. Shifting it onto my left foot, which is really just bad news. So once again, I come in, when he comes in, I go to parry, he opens that up, and now he flips me. I appreciate that he did not actually flip me. So, these are some thoughts about using your DAG. We'll do one more thing. So, I'm going to reverse my position so that I'm now upwards and towards his face. He doesn't like this. I come in and drop down, hitting into his crotch, or, as he just did an example of, I come here, I get underneath here, so now I have somewhere to brace, and I can now grab him and pull him down. One of the important things that I want to kind of keep in mind with using the poleaxe is you can use someone's armor against them, and depending on how it's built, will have a factor. One of the difference between Tim and I's armor, my arms and elbow are all one piece. That gives him a levering point because I can't wiggle around that. His forearm and elbow are separate. That gives him a little more play, and some of this doesn't work the same way on him as it would on me. If I start pressing here, he can maneuver around, and that throw doesn't work as easy. If he puts something through the crook of my arm, and he presses against that, it can become a problem. Now, you would actually drop it down like that. Oh, there. See, so because he can use that fold of my arm to move him around. So once again, I'm Ramirez, this is Tim. We're both members of Tidewater Renaissance Fighting Arts as part of our harness fecting program. And if you like this, please like the video and subscribe because we're going to have more information. And we're based out of Norfolk, Virginia. If you're interested, I'll leave information about our club below. And I'll see you in the next video.